Hey friends, okay, so today's video I'm actually going to be talking about vocations because I know that I'm a mom, a married woman with 5 children, but actually it's very interesting because if I were to someday be a saint, which we all want to get to heaven and that's what a saint is, if someone were to say, Heather, what would you want what would you be a patron of? I think for me, honestly, it would be for the singlehood and like waiting upon your vocation, because I kid you not, I wanted to get married right outside of high school. Like that was my dream, was to be a wife and a mother and to live happily ever after. And I had a great zeal and desire for that. However, I did not meet my husband until I was 29, and that was very, very painful for me. My 20s were so painful because all I truly wanted was to be married and have children. And through that, like waiting upon the Lord, that is where I really grew closer to God. And so I want to talk about that in this video because I've realized that my genre is usually like, you know, Catholic moms, but there's a large portion of men and women who watch this who are single and who really truly want to get married. And there are so many men who have told me, like, I really want to find a good Catholic woman who, you know, has virtue and wants to love God, who, you know, is Catholic, all those things. And same with women. I've had a lot of women say, like, I just don't know where my husband is. Like, there aren't any good men out there. That is not true. There are still very good men and women out there in the world. And it's, I encourage you to pray for them, whoever your spouse is. Get down on your knee and pray for them. Not necessarily that you meet them, although that's important to do. Like eventually you want to meet them, but pray for them because more than likely they're in a spiritual battle right now. You know, whether it's in a different relationship or, you know, not following Christ, like you don't know who they are more than likely. Just know that, you know, whether you're 40, 50, 60, you're single, you still want to be married, like God can do anything. He knows what we need and we need to just trust that, trust the process. If we're open, then we have to trust that God is going to show us the way and lead us and guide us. Anyway, if you are married and you're watching this, please give your words of wisdom down in the comments on what helped you, maybe your story, what you did while you were waiting upon the Lord to find your vocation of, you know, being married. So I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about what to do while you're waiting for your spouse. So for me, like I said, I was 30 when I got married, met my husband when I was 29, and almost a year later we were married. And my husband is 3 years younger than me and he is amazing. And so I knew from as a little girl that I really, really wanted to be like my mom and have lots of children, be happily married, and be a stay-at-home mom. Those are the things that I really, really wanted. And I think that God kind of knew that. He put that in my heart because that's what he wanted for me too. And I think that I used to think that God didn't want me to be happy. If that's what I want, then he's surely gonna make me a nun because that is, I want it too bad, you know, type of thing. The holiest thing that you can do is do God's will for your life. That is what will make you the holiest. And for me, it was thankfully being a wife and a mother. Anyway, so I'm gonna get into this. What do you do when you are waiting for your spouse? What is it? Like you're sitting there, you're waiting, you have your job and your heart is just burning because you can't wait to be a wife, a mother, a husband, a father, you know, whatever it is. I would say the first thing is whatever you are doing right now, you know, whether you're in your career, whether you're in school, do it to the fullest. Be very good at what you do, you know, and be honest about it, be good at it, and just continue to live a virtuous life the way that you are right now. So continue forming yourself to be the woman or man that you are hoping to find a partner in. There was a guy that I dated who, he was a wonderful guy, but a little misguided, and he really liked pot. Okay, I'm gonna say that. He smoked pot, and you know, he also struggled with impurities, and granted, we were more friends than anything. And he was kind of left the Catholic Church. He was coming back into the church, and we, you know, just kind of worked on our friendship. Like, we were just more friends than anything. He told me one day, he's like, Heather, I really want to marry you. And I was like kind of taken back, like, okay. And I said, well, what kind of person do you think I want to marry? You know, because I'm pretty much the same person I was back then. Like, I loved the Catholic faith. I really worked on virtue. I really like did things that I felt like was pleasing to God. And so I said, okay, let me ask you something. What type of person do you think I want to marry? And he's like, oh, well, you probably want to marry somebody who loves Jesus. And I was like, yes. And you probably want to marry somebody who's Catholic. And I said, mm-hmm. And you probably want somebody who, you know, would be a good provider. And I said, sure. Like, you know, somebody who's good with children. Yes. Like, you know, and I kind of like helped him to understand he wasn't prepared for me, if that makes sense. Now, if he like cleaned up his act and he, you know, stopped smoking pot and became really virtuous, like worked on virtue and, you know, all these things, like worked on purity and all these things, then that is the type of person that I would have been like, okay, like I could be interested in this, you know, type of thing. So the reason I tell you that story is because I want you to think of that. What type of person do you want to marry? I'm hoping that it is a good, virtuous, holy person, because that is what God wants you to marry as well. And somebody who will help you, you know, who wants to wait till you're married to come together marriage-wise, you know, and like all these things, who will be a great father or mother to your children and stuff. So first and foremost, become that person that you hope to marry someday, you know, that you really want to marry. Become that person, you know, like go to mass every Sunday, help with Bibles, you know, help with Sunday school, like do these things that will really encourage virtue in your life and grow in your relationship with God more than anything. This is the time. And it's funny, I know people had told me that before, like, oh, once you get married and you have children, like you're not gonna ever have time, like do it all now. And I wish I would have listened to them, because it is so true. Like having 5 children and a marriage is so full is what I'm gonna say. It's amazing. It is truly amazing and worth it, and I love it more than everything. Like, it's exhausting, but it's so beautiful, and I'm so thankful that I have it. But I wish, looking back, that I would have like spent more time in adoration, you know, more time going to daily mass, more time praying rosaries, like all these things that I can't really do now. Like, it's very hard, and I have to figure out babysitters and, you know, all of this stuff now. Whereas if you are free and you have access to all that, I highly recommend going deep in prayer. Which leads me to my, you know, kind of on the same track, is use your time now wisely. Use it so well. So use this time to serve others, because once you're in marriage, it's all about service. A good, healthy marriage is when you are serving your spouse, you're serving your children, you're doing things for other people the way that Christ serves us, you know, like he died to himself. That's kind of what marriage is. It's a lot of dying to yourself. It's not like what the movies portray as, like, you know, the fairy tale, the romantic comedies. Sure, there are moments like that, and there's great moments, but it really truly is, if you want a good, holy marriage, it's a lot of sacrifice, it's a lot of compromise, And so use your time now wisely in that way. Prepare yourself to be a servant to others by serving the poor, by serving the church, by doing things for other people. And that's how you will feel fulfilled when you do that. When you give your life away, you will feel the most fulfilled, even when you're single, even when you're married. Just some practical things for preparing for meeting your spouse is pay off all your debt. Pay off as much as your debt now. And I know sometimes like we can be in that place of like, oh, it's okay, like me and my spouse will figure it out. But there are a lot of marriages that struggle with money issues. So if you can eliminate the money issue problems from the get-go, that is ideal. So work on paying off your debt, and hopefully your spouse has their debt paid off as well. My husband and I just did a video about this, but like we had just both paid off our debt like a week from each other before we met each other. And so we got to go into marriage. I think we only had car payments, but and then we ended up paying those off. But that is one stress in marriage. If you can eliminate, I highly, highly recommend it. Another thing is like if you get yourself mentally in a place where you are, that you can get married, you know, that you want to be healthy mentally and emotionally. You know, if you came out of a really bad relationship, then maybe take some time off and really heal your wounds before going, you know, into another relationship. And the best way to heal your wounds is to go before Christ and to ask him to heal you and to prepare you for your spouse. So I would definitely say that, like, prepare yourself. Kind of just, my main thing is get your ducks in a row. What type of person do you want to marry? Become the best version of yourself. I remember praying so many novenas. I highly recommend doing a 54-day rosary novena. And like that novena will move mountains. I kid you not, it is so amazing. The 54-day rosary novena. I'll link mine down below if you're looking for one, but pretty much you just pray the rosary 54 days in a row, and it's just so intense and awesome. So pray for your spouse, because you don't know. I know for me, I used to think like, oh, like, where's my husband? I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. So now, like, meeting my husband, you know, like we would talk, and you know, I was like, where were you? I've been ready for you for so long. And he's like, Heather, I was not ready for you. And he wasn't. Like, there was some things that he had to learn and figure out. There were things like in his career that he was trying to figure out too. So there, like, even though you might be ready for your spouse might not be ready for you. And that might be a good thing, because you want your spouse to be ready for you, you know, when you meet and that type of thing. So we all have different stories, different love stories. Some people, they see each other right away. They know that they're supposed to be married. Other people, it takes longer. Like, everybody's story is going to be different. Your story is going to be different too. But the best thing you can do while you're single is cling to God. Cling to God and pray for your spouse. Pray for their purity. Pray for their finances. Pray for, you know, that they are ready for you. Ready to be a parent. Ready for whatever God has in store for you in your marriage. But just keep in mind, God put in your heart your vocation. Like, there should be a draw to your vocation, you know. And sometimes I think we can be afraid of our vocation, whether it is marriage or whether it is being, you know, a religious life. Like, there might be a fear there that we need to overcome before fully going into our vocation. So just pray for healing on your end and your spouse's end. And marriage is beautiful. Like I said, like, I have such a heart for people who are single, who are waiting. Definitely check out, like, there's Catholic Match and stuff like that, where you can't, like, there's, like, it's okay to do those apps and to find somebody who is in the Catholic faith. I love that my husband's Catholic, because that is something that we both are very strong on, and that's what I really hope for, that my husband would love the Catholic faith. And However, like, I know people who, they're both not Catholic and it still works. Like, God can still work through that. And I've heard of conversions also of, like, you know, the husband wasn't Catholic and the wife, like, through her example, through her love for the faith, he fell in love with the faith too, you know, type of thing. So anyway, I just hope that this gives you hope and that you all are in my prayers. Like, so many people wrote me letters for Christmas and said they were single and they're waiting for their spouse, and that it's very painful and hard. And I just want you to know you're not alone. There's so many people who contact me who, like, men and women, who are like, where's my spouse? And I'm like, I wish I had, like, a way to match up all of the single people who watch my channel, because you all seem so awesome and stuff. So it's an exciting time to be single. Just to keep that in mind and just keep praying, and God will lead you. God will show you. He wants you to live the holiest life you can, and if that's marriage, then he will bring it to you. And just keep yourself, go to mass. You know, maybe that's where I met my husband, is at a Catholic Bible study. Like, if there's young adult groups, go to them. Like, it might feel uncomfortable at first, but it'll be okay. Just get yourself out there, find the Catholic people, surround yourself with Catholics, you know, if that's who you want to marry, and go forward with that. And anyway, I hope this video helped you guys. Know that you're in my prayers, and until next time, I will see you all later. God bless. Bye.